Welcome to Hope Shot Recovery. I'm Sonia. I'm so glad that you can join me today. I'm so excited to bring my friend Austin Green on. You've probably seen him on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. He's all over the place. He has an amazing transformation and recovery story. Thank you so much for joining me today, Austin.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So Austin's going to tell his story and let's just get right into it. Tell me, where did your addiction start?
Well, I mean, when I was 3 years old, I was molested by my uncle. Um, for the longest time, I thought it was like a nightmare that I kept having over and over until I overheard a conversation, and it was like instantly every detail had immediately hit me. Um, it wasn't long after that, my cousin introduced me to meth when I was 13. Um, I started doing that. My grandpa was diagnosed with cancer, so I was using like teeth pain as an excuse to get him to give me his perk 30s. And then when he passed away, I went to the next best thing and started doing heroin. um, when I was 18, I found out my daughter's mom was pregnant, so I tried to detox with alcohol, and I ended up going to jail for the first time. And after that, it was pretty much just over and over, in and out of jail, because I would get released, think that I could use one time, and then start using and not report to probation, or I would check in and test positive. Um, After so long, that misdemeanor charge, I had warrants, and the cops got behind me. I ended up turning that into a felony. Um, they gave me a couple opportunities. The judge was pretty sympathetic, I guess. He gave me a chance at felony probation. I violated a couple times. He sent me to a CBCF program. I did that and got out. And like a week after I got out, I started using again, and then went back to jail. He gave me another opportunity to try that one more time. Same thing when I got out again. Um, I mean, I went to treatment for the first time in 2013. That was before that, and then that's why they gave me probation. Um, I ended up going to prison, and when I got out, the whole time I was in prison, I did the same thing, and I was in there. I was drinking and smoking marijuana. When I got out of prison, I was off of supervision for the first time ever. So that's when my addiction really got bad. Um, I ended up getting hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and a yeast infection in my spine. Things just kept going downhill after that. Eventually, I lost custody of my daughter, though, and that was pretty much my deciding factor that it was time to turn my life around. I ended up going back to treatment. But while I was in treatment, I thought that I was going to be able to detox off the heroin and go back to just doing the meth. And 2 weeks after I was at treatment, I left, ended up catching another charge, and went back to jail. Um, then they court ordered me to go back to the treatment facility. So while I was there, I decided to go to sober living. Um, while I was in sober living, my best friend was in there with me. He ended up overdosing and dying. So, I mean, that was pretty much enough right there. Everything coming together to tell me that it was probably a good idea to stay away from it.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I can relate to so much of that. I mean, from the beginning, like what you went through when you were younger, to my drug of choice was also meth and heroin. Like I started off with pills and then I progressed to heroin pretty quickly, and then, losing your kids. And something about your story that intrigues me, because I've watched quite a bit of your videos and stuff, is your health problems that you went through. My husband had endocarditis and he was in the hospital for a long time. So can you talk about that for a minute? You said that you had some medical issues. What was it that happened?
You mean as far as like the infection in my spine?
Yes.
Well, I mean, at first it was just like It was like a pain that would. It felt like the only way I can explain it was like I was being electrocuted in my spine, and it would shoot down to my kneecaps. Sometimes it'd be my left side, sometimes it'd be my right side. I kept going to the doctor. It took me three ER visits before they finally ran some tests and seen that my levels was high and shipped me to a bigger city's hospital.
Wow. And so they determined that it was a yeast infection in your spine?
Yes.
Wow. And so was that related to using?
I mean, the doctor said that the only thing he could come up with was that it was probably from the IV use, from where the bacteria travels through all your body or whatever and stays behind, and then
Yeah.
just goes from there.
I have to wonder though, like I could see how that's possible, but I also think in a way when a doctor knows that you're an addict, they blame everything on addiction. That's my experience. So, and another thing that I can relate to you as well is like part of my story is that I lost my kids. I lost custody of my kids. So you were saying that that happened to you, and then that was kind of the turning point for you. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So you went back to the treatment center that you had already been to before. And is that when you got clean?
Well, I mean, I got clean when I went to jail, so and then going to treatment afterwards kind of sealed the deal for me pretty much.
That's awesome. So, so when was that? How long has it been since you got clean?
I got clean on December 21st of 2020.
It's awesome. Congratulations. It's amazing. Okay, so what were some of the challenges that you went through, like in your early recovery, going through treatment? And then you said you went to a sober living house. What were some of the challenges that you experienced then?
Honestly, probably I'd say one of the biggest things was probably opening up about my past trauma, like being able to let go of my pride or whatever and speak on that.
Yeah, for sure. And I just commend you. Like I appreciate watching your videos and you being so open with that because there's a lot of people that have been through the things that you've been through and you sharing that really helps a lot of other people to feel not alone. So I appreciate that myself. Okay, so tell me, so you have your daughter back in your life now, right? Because I know I've seen videos of her, so I know you do. Can you talk about that for a minute? What was that journey like?
You mean like as far as what? Sorry.
Well, as far so if you lost custody of her, I mean, did you have to like do certain things to get her back, or how did you get her back in your life?
Well, I was actually fortunate enough. My aunt got custody of her. My aunt still has custody of her. I see her just about every day. Um, I mean, I think my family realized that this time around something was different about it. I was actually serious about sticking with it. So I think the trust came along with that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's so important to have a supportive family. I mean, my mom is the one that kept custody of my kids when I was going through all of my stuff. So that really helped, like to keep my kids and my family and then to have their support. Like, that's everything.
Yeah.
So, okay, tell me, what does life look like for you today?
I mean, it's nowhere near like it used to be. I mean, it seems like the life I live today is pretty much what I've always dreamed of in active addiction. Like, I mean, I really don't have no complaints. I mean, it could always be worse, really.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Like, honestly, do you ever, now that you are in recovery, do you ever think about using sometimes?
Oh yeah. I mean, some days are worse than others. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Absolutely.
So what do you do when you go through that? Like if you think about using, what do you do to get through that?
I mean, honestly, a lot of it, like, I mean, like the followers that support me on social media, my family members. I just think back to the day my daughter was crying. I mean, no one wants to see their 7-year-old daughter crying, begging them to go get help because they know something's not wrong. I guess I just replay the tape and just think about everything, really.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, for me, like one of my moments was when I was in jail and I wasn't allowed to speak to my kids. I was not getting out of jail. I was going to prison, or I thought I was going to prison anyways. And, I just had custody taken away. I will never forget that moment because that is what helps me stay clean when I want to use. Because even if like I don't immediately go back there, that's eventually where I'm going to be because I don't have an off switch. Okay, so so there might be somebody out there watching this right now who's in their addiction. Maybe somebody who has lost all hope. What would you say to them?
I mean, I know sometimes it seems like anything's impossible, but I mean, a lot of it, like if you put your mind to it and move forward to like make the steps in the right direction to better your life, then I mean, you're pretty much capable of doing anything. Especially like addicts, we got that drive to hustle and get our next fix. I mean, we can put that use to anything.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, addicts are some of the like brightest, most talented, charismatic people that you will ever meet. And if we can put that stuff that we use for the negative to the good, I mean, we are completely unstoppable.
Mhm.
So, what would you say helps you the most in your recovery today?
I mean, honestly, I'd probably say not trying to think that I could do it all myself, like depend on other people to support me and like looking to them for words of encouragement or whatever.
I love that. And that's so true. Like they say, the opposite of addiction is connection. And no matter where you find that connection at, whether it's in a fellowship or on TikTok, because there's a whole recovery community on TikTok, I absolutely love that. And no matter how people recover, like we all come together in unity, because we need each other to recover. So I love that. That's so true. So, are there any final thoughts that you want to add?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I appreciate you so much coming and telling your story today. I am so inspired by your story, and I just really appreciate you coming and taking the time to share your story with us. So, I'm going to link all of Austin's socials in the description so that you guys, if you're not already, can go and follow Austin's journey. So, thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you again soon on Hope Shot Recovery.